Now, I frequently say that the only thing that you truly need to homeschool is a library card. But obviously, there are some resources that are going to make things a lot easier, a lot more fun. And this video is going to be about 5 specific products that will last for the lifetime of your homeschooling and will allow you to not only introduce your kids to a variety of different skills and concepts, but will also make your job as the homeschool parent a little bit easier. Now, full disclosure, I am going to link to these products in the description. However, the products I'm linking to are not products I personally have purchased. If I were to purchase these, if I needed them, I already have most of them already. But if I needed them, the ones that I'm linking to are the ones that I would get. I put in a lot of time researching, trying to find the very best bang for your buck. So while some of these might be a little more expensive than a typical homeschool resource, remember that these are products that you're going to be able to use year after year after year. This is not grade level curriculum that we're talking about. These are going to be hands-on tools that your children will be able to use year after year, regardless of their age. And it's going to enhance your whole homeschool experience. And so, yes, it might be an expensive purchase, but when you think about the longevity of it and all it's going to give you over time, you may find it is worth the cost. The first biggest bang for your buck resource that I'd like to share is a really good globe. I have such amazing memories from when I was a kid. We had a globe from when my mom had been a kid. So she was a kid in the 50s and 60s. I was a child of the 80s. A lot had changed on that globe. It didn't look like that anymore. I feel like I got such a clearer understanding of just the world in general by being able to see where all these places were that we were learning about. And yes, you can get a wall map, and it's a great idea to have a wall map. But when you have a globe, kids get a much clearer understanding of the reality of that wall map and why things are not necessarily drawn on that wall map the way that they actually are. When we think about going from a globe to something flat, a lot of things change. But having a globe can help your kids go from these places just being places they've heard about to places that they can actually visualize and picture where they are in relation to other things that they know, and particularly where they are in relation to themselves. I did a bunch of research trying to find a really good quality globe. And unfortunately, I had a hard time doing that. The one that I have linked to here below is the best one that I found. It's not the cheapest, but it's not terribly expensive either. And I read really good things about the size. This is a nice size, and therefore there's a lot more space for them to write the names of things. So the font isn't as small. I believe the United States has all of the capitals on them as well. And you're going to be able to set this up somewhere in your home in a prominent place because, generally speaking, it's a very nice looking globe. And so you can keep this sitting out on your mantle, on a table, wherever, so that it's easy to access. So that as you're going through your day to day homeschooling, anytime a country gets mentioned, you can go figure out where it is on the globe. If you like the idea of a globe, but you want to look for a different one, there are a couple of things that you should look for. First of all, you want to make sure that it's not made in China. And here's why. They will fudge the borders of disputed territories to make it look like they are all part of China. I learned this in one of the reviews of one of the other globes that I was looking at that was made in China. Somebody remarked on the fact that the borders for Taiwan and another place I can't remember, not only was the border not there, like Taiwan wasn't there, it was just part of China. So you want to make sure that you're getting one that's accurate. You also want to make sure that you're getting one that is a good size. A lot of the globes out there are like 9 inches. That's pretty small. You want one that's at least 12, 13 inches so that you're getting a much clearer view. And lastly, you want to make sure that it actually can spin. Some of these are mounted in such a way that they don't really turn, and that makes it awfully hard to find what you're looking for. The second biggest bang for your buck resource that I wanted to recommend is a really good telescope. Now, this is definitely a more expensive product than a lot of things that we would typically get for our homeschool. And the reason that I did not call this list a list of must-haves is because honestly, no, you do not have to have any of these really, but certainly not a telescope in order to homeschool well. However, having a telescope can be such an eye-opening experience. Being able to see the moon up close, being able to see other planets. One of my best memories of a telescope was actually on a camping trip that my daughters and I took with their American Heritage Girl Troop. And the campground we were staying at had an observatory. And we got to go up there and look through their telescope and see the rings on Saturn. It was so cool. I'd never seen that before. This is one of those products that you can set up outside, and as long as it's in a protected place, just kind of leave it. So you can go out there every once in a while and take a look when there's going to be some kind of an eclipse, comet, there's going to be a meteor shower. To be able to see these things up close is such a unique experience that people don't typically get to have. So if you're able to get the money for something like a telescope, I think it's a great purchase to make. Again, I did a lot of research trying to find one that was worth the money. And from everything I've read about this, particularly as I compared it to others, the one that I've linked below sounds like a really good deal. And as we're coming up on the holidays, keep an eye out. You may be able to get it on sale. If you want to look for your own telescope instead of using my recommendation, there are a couple of things you want to make sure that you look for. First of all, you want to make sure that you get the highest magnification possible for your price point, because that's kind of the whole thing, right? Is the magnification. You also want to make sure that it is stable enough that you can leave it setting out. You don't have to keep folding it down and putting it in every time you finish, that it's something that you can just set up once. And of course, it would have to be in a place that's protected. You don't want it, being rained on, but you want to make sure that it's something that you can leave out most of the year so that it is easy to be able to go out and use it. My next recommendation would be the opposite of a telescope. It would be a microscope. Being able to let your kids see what's going on in cells, what's going on in a drop of pond water. There's a lot in there that you wouldn't realize until you see it under a microscope. This is another one of those gifts that is great to just keep set up somewhere so it's nice and easy to access, because it's the kind of thing that you want your kids to be able to just grab a slide, put something on it, put it under there. Let's go take a look. Let's see what this looks like on a cellular level. Now, again, a lot of microscopes are not great. A lot of them are kind of play microscopes and they don't magnify very well. So you want to make sure as you're looking for a gift like this, that you look for one that has really good construction. It's very solid. And you want to make sure that it has really good magnification and focusing, because if you can't get the thing in focus, then you can't use it at all. And unfortunately, a lot of the reviews that I read on some of the other ones, that was the big thing. We couldn't get it to focus. So you want to make sure that you're getting one that has a good reputation for actually being usable. And chances are you're going to have to spend a little bit more money to get that. The one that I have recommended below has loads of great reviews. If we were in the market for a microscope, this is definitely the one that I would be getting. The fourth biggest bang for your buck product that I would recommend is a really good set of base 10 blocks. This is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated resources for homeschooling. Obviously, there are all sorts of hands-on manipulatives for math, but I think base 10 blocks are one of those things that I kind of feel like everybody should have. It helps build number sense and a firm understanding of the base 10 system that our whole counting system is based on. And when it comes to place value, that's one of those skills that kids have a really hard time grasping. But base 10 blocks makes it so much easier. My girls had a solid wood set. I was trying to find something like that. I don't know that they sell them anymore. I couldn't find anything like it on Amazon anyway. But I do like the set that I have recommended here because each of the different components is a different color. And that might help for kids that are very visual, or if you have very creative kids, they tend to really connect with color. And so having all the different types of blocks be color coded might actually be a benefit for them. This particular set that I linked below also comes with a dry erase mat that you can use when you're using the set. For example, you can give your kids a number and then they can build on the mat with the different blocks to visually represent the number that you gave them. Now, if you want to look for your own set, the things that I would recommend is making sure that there are enough pieces. I would say you want to have at least 20 or 30 of the 10 rods. as close to 100 of the little individual units as possible, and at least 20, if possible, of the flats, which count as 100. Typically, sets are only going to come with 1,000 block, and that's okay. You don't really need multiple of those. But you want to have as many pieces for the other values as possible, because particularly when you are regrouping, you are going to have more of those than you would typically need if you're just showing a standard number. So make sure that they've got a large number of each of the different pieces so that you're able to demonstrate the different math concepts like borrowing and regrouping. The last biggest bang for your buck resource that I wanted to recommend is actually for you, the parent. It's the skill and knowledge checklists. This is a totally unique, one of a kind product that allows you to take an at a glance view of your child's entire education. Regardless of whether you're following curriculum or you are unschooling or somewhere in between, the skills and knowledge checklists make it possible for you to track everything your child has learned in a very simple, straightforward way. If you're in a state where you need to do a lot of record keeping, this is going to help you so much when it comes to reporting what it is that your children have learned, what they've been working on, and be able to show what their growth in each subject has been. And I'm particularly passionate about this resource because I actually created it. It is one of the products I am the most proud of because it can be such a huge game changer for parents who need to do a lot of record keeping and a lot of tracking of what their children have learned. When you purchase this product, you're also going to get a video resource that's going to show you 3 different ways that you can use it, but you are, of course, able to use it in whatever way works for you. Be sure to check out the other videos in my holiday gift giving guide series because we've got all sorts of options for moms, for kids, for your homeschool to make your shopping a little bit easier this holiday season. I hope this video is useful. I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.